Hello folks, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. This is Steven again. I'm going to talk a little bit today about what to take to training and what I took to training, what I found useful. I will say that the big difference between most airlines in terms of what you should take to training is going to be in terms of your wardrobe. The larger airlines are going to have you probably wear business wear or a little bit more than business casual. My airline had very specific things that we could wear. We could only wear business casual, which was a long sleeve, short sleeve shirt, polo shirt in very particular colors, and black or khaki pants, no skirts. So your airline may have you wear business wear for certain days, business casual some other days, and casual on other days. All right, so beyond clothes, and they're going to let you know what you should take for clothing. Required items: passport, watch, flashlight, things that we didn't use in training, but we had to get used to carrying with us on a daily basis. Also, things that we would need on our IOE or our OE, our initial operating experience. You're going to need to be flying legal, and to fly legal, you need those items with you. A smartwatch is probably okay. Your instruction from your airline should let you know. Any watch with a second hand. I wore my smartwatch. I also keep a spare cheap Timex in my bag in case the battery is kaput on this. Your luggage. Some airlines give you your luggage or will forward you your luggage. You may have to pay for it in payments. It depends on your airline. I want to say United, I think, has Toomey. They give you Toomey. I'm a little jealous. I love Toomey. My airline gave us directions on what size, what dimension our bag should be, and we had to bring it with us to training to make sure it was compliant. I took an American Tourister bag I bought from Walmart. It was, I think, $60, and I've been using it since training for almost a year now, and it works fine. A lot of people swear by Travel Pro. Maybe one day when I have the money to throw at that kind of bag, but right now my American Tourister is just fine. I'll give you a tour of my luggage someday. As I mentioned, clothing really depends on your airline and what they want you to take. They'll let you know, trust me. Lots of underwear and socks. Now, while you're maybe in a training center or in a hotel, they're going to have a laundry facility, but it depends on how many people you have in your class. That laundry facility will be very, very popular. So I took as many socks and underwear as I could, and I packed some of those little laundry laundry detergent pods. I put like probably 10 of them in a Ziploc bag and stuffed those in one of my shoes. Because while also the hotel may have laundry detergent, they run out because there's a lot of people using those things. So take that with you as well. Casual clothes for going out and for after training. So as you're packing the clothes you're going to take for training, your business wear, your business casual, and your casual clothes, swimwear, all of that stuff. Remember, you're going to use it during training, but you're also, chances are that you're going to leave from training to your base, as I did. It went right to my base after training. Those clothes I wore in training, I was wearing for the first few weeks after training until I could actually go back home on my days off and switch out some of my wardrobe. So you'll be wearing those clothes after training as well as during training. During training, we were allowed to wear jeans probably twice, and that was mainly during when we're going to do a training on the emergency slides and our water ditching day. We were allowed to wear, I think, running pants or anything, but we could actually wear a bathing suit on those days as well, but covered up clearly by clothes. Loungewear. You're going to want to bring pajamas for sure, unless you're really comfortable with your roommate and it's understood. But you're going to want to wear pajamas. But loungewear, in my case, we were in a hotel in Fort Lauderdale. in a hotel. And we took over that hotel lobby and the business center. And for the most part, everyone's running around in their pajamas. I wouldn't be caught dead running around a nice hotel in pajamas. You never know who you're going to meet. So bring some loungewear, a tracksuit, whatever. Take something that's comfortable, you can curl up in. But I wouldn't want to run around a hotel unless there was a fire alarm in my pajamas. That's just me. Bathing suits, flip-flops, and gym clothes. The gym was a real haven for me. When I got super stressed, the gym was definitely a place I wanted to go. Miscellaneous items. A tote bag. I bought a Travel Pro, their low-end Travel Pro at TJ Maxx. It was like $50. It's a rolling tote bag with those extension handles. It's like a regular suitcase, just smaller. And I use that during training to cart all of my items with me to and from class. Now that I'm flying for a living, I use that same bag. People call it a RON bag, a remain overnight bag, or a turn bag. If I'm just flying to Pittsburgh and back, and I know I'm not going to need a whole suitcase full of clothes, I just throw my required items, in that rolling tote, throw my lunch bag on top of it, and I'm gone. And when I come back, I may want to repack my stuff into my regular suitcase, so I'm prepared for the next day, but I use that rolling tote bag for training, but I use it all the time for work too, so I might invest in a rolling tote bag, either during training or right after training. A water bottle. I filled up a water bottle I brought with me 3 or 4 times a day. Keeps you hydrated, kind of kept me awake by sipping water. And now that I fly, I use that water bottle all the time. A lunch bag. I have an eBags lunch bag. I bought that before going to training. I brought it with me because I had watched other videos talk about lunch. So I brought that as well. I brought food containers. I had these collapsible silicone food, containers so I could prepare food or pack food when I'm there. Plastic utensils, I had that in there as well. And Ziplocs, because I almost knew the refrigerator in the room, the hotel room, wouldn't have a freezer. So I brought I rolled up a bunch of Ziploc bags, and I would put ice from the ice machine in Ziploc bags and sometimes double Ziploc them so that I could keep my food fresh during the course of the day. The refrigerator at the training center was so full of other people's bags and old food that I just wanted to keep my stuff in my lunch bag cold. So I used a lot of Ziploc bags and ice from the ice machine on our floor. Computer, bring a computer. Don't trust a tablet or your phone. You're going to do a lot of computer work during training. So take your computer with you. The cables that you'll need, a mouse. I needed a mouse pad because for some reason the tables that we had at the hotel in the lobby, for example, didn't really respond well with my mouse. Headphones and earbuds, so you can actually do your computer work, but also you'll use them at the gym. Extra phone cables and an external battery. A book light, just in case you're a night owl and your roommate is not, and you want to be able to read and study or do whatever. Have a book light so you can keep the lights off in the room and be a little bit more thoughtful. Earplugs and eye mask in the event that your roommate is not thoughtful, and to keep the light off and stuff. I use earplugs and an eye mask all the time during layovers. I actually use my sleep mask in my studio apartment because I have blinds I leave open so that my plants get a lot of light. So when I sleep late, I like to just throw that little eye mask on. I love it. Earplugs for sure. Extension cords, not only for your room because, you may not have a really nicely situated outlet, but when you're in the hotel lobby or the training room center, wherever, the outlet is never where you need it. Even at the airport, I should probably put one of those extension cords in my luggage. So bring an extension cord. Hangers. This is a knockoff of a huggable hanger, Joy Mangano. I love them. They're super thin, so you can really pack that closet they're sharing for two people. You can pack a lot of clothes. Bring extra hangers. The hotel never seems to have enough hangers. These are flocked, like they're velvety, so things don't slip off them. I love them. You can get them at TJ Maxx or Marshalls for almost nothing, and they're super, super handy. Caffeine tablets. There's not a lot of sleep to be had during training, especially after that first week when you start really getting into the grind of things. So, our class was from 7 a.m. to 4:30. About 1 o'clock after after endless slide presentations or PowerPoint presentations, I needed some caffeine. So I would take a little caffeine tablet. The people around me typically were like, hey, give me one. I was like a pusher for caffeine. Packing cubes, I'm not a fan of them personally because I have to pack them and then pack those. It seems a lot of duplication. I do use a packing cube for a cosmetic case, cosmetic bag, because they're ventilated really nicely. And so any wet brushes or sponges, my face brush, will dry out in there rather than the waterproof bags, which kind of get gross. Business cards. Now, I learned this trick on a cruise. On a cruise, you meet hundreds of people, and a lot of them become friends. So I had gone to Vistaprint and printed up little business cards, and with a photograph of myself that I liked, my name, a phone number, and an email, maybe an Instagram, whatever contact information you want to share. You're going to be meeting a lot of people, either at your interview, at training, and shortly after. Even as when you're working, I'm not a huge fan of giving out my personal information, but once in a great while, you're going to meet those people who you really want to stay connected to, and you're able to hand them your personal contact information on a nice, tasteful little card would be handy. And personal totems. I talked about these once in a video in the past. My ex-boyfriend, Mark, gave me this little clear quartz crystal to help me focus. And I don't know if it worked. I got good test scores. I'm not sure if it was because of that or how much I stressed. These little pots, I brought one or two of these. I mentioned these in one of my other videos too. They're little pots that I made. I'm a potter. When I make a pot on the wheel, there's a little, and I make a mistake or something's just not working. Rather than fix the problem, which is really not the way to go about it, I just cut that piece off, toss it, I'll recycle the clay. In the bottom of that wheel, there's going to be a little round pad of clay that's left over that you typically scrape off. I would recenter that clay and make a little bowl out of what was left from that piece that was a mistake. And I brought these little bowl with me to kind of remind me that something fantastic and wonderful can come from a mistake or come from the past. And so I wanted to bring this little thing to remind me that even if I fail a test or even if I struggle, something wonderful can come from this if I really apply myself and if I center myself. I sound so wise. And I brought this little paper airplane, which I've talked about in the past as well. The week before my brother passed away back in 1977, my grandmother tried to teach us how to make paper airplanes. And this is one of those paper airplanes. It's 40 years old. And I keep it there because he's like my little angel. It's a little paper airplane, which is quite fitting. And it reminds me of my past and my future, and to be kind. He was a wonderful little boy. And it just felt good to have with me. I usually keep this in my luggage, in my rollerboard. It's nice and flat, so I tuck it in there. So wherever I go, I usually have a little piece of my brother with me. So I bring something personal with me to training and have that next to my bed or in view so that I can find comfort in it in a very stressful environment. Okay, what else? School supplies. All right, so I'll show you the binder I brought with me, and then I'll cut half this list out. I took this binder. It's a little bit thicker but not one of those giant ones. I took a little It's a little zippered compartment to hold pens, highlighters. I used to practice my schematics. I would put my sample schematics in a plastic sheet protector, and I'd use an ultrafine tip dry erase marker to fill out the sample sheets. When I made a mistake, I'd wipe it clean. And I continued doing that in training, especially that first week, preparing for my schematics tests. So I use the ultrafine tip dry erase markers, not always easy to find, highlighters, pens, that kind of thing in here. Sheet protectors for, again, sample sheets I was working on, and other information, handouts, and things that I had to study, like evacuation slides and what member of the crew gets off on what raft, and all this information, seat, areas of compliance, all these little sheets that they would give us, I put in my plastic sheet protector so I could flip through and study during class. Notebook paper, and a lot of it. I mean, throw a ton in there. My notes started off, you can see, I'm not going to, hopefully you can't see them too much, but they're very neat. The first week, they get less and less, like, look at this, it's chaos. They get less and less neat as the week progressed. So bring a lot of note paper. At the end of each day, I tried to rewrite my notes because so I could make better sense of them when I was studying, but I took a lot of note paper. I also took a couple of these little simple folders with pockets to hold documents that weren't things I had to go back to all the time, but things I wanted to keep so I could go use them in the future. I have 2 of these, and they're both stuffed, super useful. Whoops, that's a notebook falling. A hole punch. They do make a small little thin one that's like you can punch like 2 or 3 sheets at a time. Hole punch was useful. A mini stapler was really useful for me and everyone around me. Highlighters, I brought every color under the sun. I only used one, yellow, and it's a type of highlighter that is like a crayon. It's actually it's a twist up solid highlighter that didn't make noise when you highlight. A whole room full of people highlighting makes a noise that really is special. The dry erase markers I mentioned. Regular dry erase markers, I did not do this, but I wish I had. So I could actually write on the mirror in my hotel room, either notes for my roommate, or things I needed to remember to do or pick up or do something, because I had like the equivalent of baby brain during training. So regular dry erase markers for the bathroom mirror would have been kind of cool. Index or flashcards, mostly for learning city codes, things like that. Regular Sharpie to do those. Post-it notes, I brought them, I never used them. Skincare. You know what you need for your skincare. Either bring it with you or buy it once you're there. Anything that's going to be 3 ounces or less, take with you from home. But don't bother taking shampoo, conditioner, that kind of stuff, because they're going to take it from you at the airport. Hair ties. Bring a lot of hair ties. Now, clearly, I don't need them. Bring a lot of hair ties. You're going to need them. Pantyhose. Take a lot of pantyhose. But bring hair ties for friends, too, because I'll tell you, when you're out of a hair tie and someone has an extra one, what a lifesaver they are. Be that lifesaver. Have some extra hair ties on you. Anything you're going to need that is 3 ounces or larger, that's a liquid or something, buy when you're at your training center or your hotel. There's always going to be a Walmart or something nearby. Food, you're going to need that too. So unless your airline feeds you, like I think American feeds you really, really nicely, or is it JetBlue? I forget. But you're going to want snacks and stuff for the hotel room. So buy that there. Anything that's liquid that's over 3 ounces, you can't take with you to training, but you can take them where you're going after training. So feel free to buy what you want. 2 things I wish I had had when I was in training: a miniature ironing board. Our hotel room didn't have an ironing board. I don't know why. We were ironing on a desk. I really would have liked a small miniature one. They cost like $10 at Target. Pop it on the bed, iron, and a lap desk. Those with those little, those little beanbag bottoms with a flat top to either use when studying in the room, in the hotel lobby that I was in, wherever. So it would have been nice to be able to work off a lap desk. And I really think that that is everything I wrote down. And because I know this is already too long of a video. If there's anything I missed or forgot, please drop it below in the comment box below. If you have any comments, suggestions, anything nice to say, drop that down there below as well. Like the video if you like, no problem. Subscribe, mostly because I'd like to know that there's people out there listening to me talk. And share the video. I forget to tell people, but I do think and I do hope that the information I have is quality enough that you're enjoying and getting something out of it. Feel free to share this on social media, on Facebook and stuff, if you think other people would like or value the information as well. And as always, I think you're saints for watching them. I know that other people's videos are like 10 or 15 minutes and mine are like marathons. But I'd like to thank you very, very much for watching. And that's it. Fly safe. Bye.